Welcome back to Shit Channel for you. It's nice to hear you again, or maybe it's nice to see you again, or whatever. However, for you who haven't subscribed to my channel and still watching, it's nice to see you anyway. And even if I can see you physically, no, I can't. But at least you listen to my videos, so yeah, kind of, if I may say it. Anyway, I want at least to say something I have in my mind, in my thoughts, so long I can remember when I was younger. As you know, when I was young, I was always a believer. Perhaps not super believer, but a kind of believer. Let us say I believed there were a God there, but I couldn't. I wasn't religious, if I may say it, when I was a kid. Well, with that kind of mind, as you know, sometimes children always may be going on Sunday school all the time to learn about the religion and so on, whatever stands in the Gosbal and anything like that. Or maybe they go 24/7 every day to their belief system and so on. Well, you maybe wonder, what kind of religion do I belong? Or what kind of religion have I committed to? Well, here's the thing. I don't say what kind of religion I belong to or what kind of religion I believe in. I rather stick it to myself. Even though I understand that few of you are going to be annoyed because I literally maybe broke up about the religion and so on, but yet I don't want to reveal anything about myself. Well, I feel sorry for you, pal. Oh, fellas. But it's up to you. I don't have to tell everybody at all. Alright. But here's something you maybe not heard about myself. You maybe have heard about the concept Gnostic and Agnostic. Gnostic is the one who believes that God exists, who knows that God exists, and know that the God were the creator and there is someone higher there. But the concept of the Gnostics is that they believe that everything that stands in the book is the truth. But just because you're agnostic doesn't mean you really believe in anything. That depends. It could be atheism and gnostic. Okay, understand this concept. Just because that person calls atheism Gnostic doesn't mean he is really an atheist. No, rather he or she believe there is a God, but not in the way who may be prescribed in the Bible. Exactly, except it's different. All Gnostics are different. The same goes for agnostics as well. For example, I'm an agnostic. I don't know for certain there is a God or not. But here's the thing what I believe. I believe there is a God, but I don't believe what stands in the religion. But sometimes I can shifting from, okay, there is a God, or maybe it's not a God. I don't have anything I can share with. Exactly. But here is something I maybe want to share. As I told you, I was young. I couldn't understand if there were a God or not. Except that I have always had my thoughts there is a God there. But I couldn't say what gender this God belonged to. Mostly you maybe hear from random people who may say God is a man. Or maybe from a few people who might say God is a woman. Well, that could be the truth, so why not? Well, in my view, even though I have doubts that I didn't know exactly what to pointing at, because I was thinking, I don't know if that person is a man or woman. But I was always silent for all those years, without laying a finger if the God is a man or a woman, even though you will have a random of Gospels for many religions who may say we are a perfect image of God. What they try to say is the way God created man and woman. For example, they say, well, Adam were created by God in same image like God, except that he was young. Why Eve were created in a bone from a river from Adam. Which I don't believe. Because my doubts is that Adam and Eve were created in same time. Even though I could maybe have in the mind that I may have read about few concepts about Lilith who were forced to marry Adam, but it didn't go well since she on the other hand declined the idea that Adam should have the the power, if I may say it. For example, God wanted Lilith to submit to Adam because because he created Adam. But Lilith was asking God in this case, can't we share the power? Instead for just the idea God had. But God didn't have this mind and instead wanted to at least make sure that she submit to him. But from my view, that sounds a little crazy. Why in the world would God say that? Well, it blew my mind. Sometimes there's a Gospels who are written for a long time ago, yet there have been many Gospels who have been burned everywhere, no matter if they were a church, synagogue or whatever I could call it, or mosque. However, synagogue and mosque. That's how it is. However, after that kind of complaint, Lilith leave Adam, and maybe Adam became a little heartbroken over that, except that he didn't understood the concept of equality. He was maybe blindfolded to understand that there is other opportunity than what he had in his mind. And later God created Eve on other hands. But I believe that Eve have exist in same time as Adam, even though we know that Lilith were the archangel who just left the heaven because of this cast, that she was forced to marry Adam but have to submit to him, like leaving the power all to Adam, and Adam is the desire, why she is the follower. Again, Lilith had lived longer than Adam. Why couldn't they just share the power in this case? Alright, but that's not what I'm going to talk about now. What I'm going to talk about is what is my mind to why I became an agnostic person. For example, everything began when I was young. I didn't know exactly much about God except that there is a God. I didn't give any gender on that God, but I was believed that there were a God anyway. Later, when I became a teenager, I started to believe there were more than just one God. But the God we follow will exist still. Those other gods, well, they are different. But I had still one God I maybe half follow anyway. And that's one of the Olympics, also known as Athena. As you know, Athena is the god of defend, if I may say it. The god of defender. The one who defends innocent people, no matter what population you belong to. You shall never die, and she will never allow you to die or whatever. Actually, she is an amazing god. Yes, she is. However, back to that God I believe anyway. The one I have always worshipped. You are maybe familiar with same God. Well, call it what you want. As a Jew, you call it only God. But as a Christian, you just say God or maybe Yahweh as they view, simply giving a name of that God. And in Islam, you say Allah, translated to God, nothing more. Anyway, I was still believing in God, no problem, but I was little unsure with the Gospels I actually read. I have only read few views, but I skipped the violent one because I wanted to ignore that part. So yeah, I was literally thinking that all religion was good anyway, without to have any doubts about that. Well, but after my father's death, it was an event. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I won't say exactly what event it was, because you will readily think, what kind of religion do I belong to? What event did I actually celebrate after my father's death? Perhaps few of you will maybe find out, while few of you will not find out. But I'm not here to let you discover what kind of religion I belong to. Anyway, after my father's death, I took it hard. I was thinking, I was start to slamming death for my own father. When I say death, I meant like the Reaper. You know, the guy with the Skype, walking skeleton, a robe. So yeah, I was slamming all of them who were connection to death. even when it comes to our mortal size, like gangsters who literally stabbing people, or any kind of killer, as I would see as an enemy of everything. However, I was still loving God no matter what. God was still the good one. And all of those gods, okay, rather than our God, if I may say it. Even though I understand that God also known to everything from life and death. God is still loved. And yeah, that's what I had in my mind. So all those years I wanted to be a part of the religion, to become more understandable of it. What I couldn't support was the difference between all genders. In my mind was that, why should men grab the power while women have to submit to men and accept that men have the power? That was my only concern to why I didn't accept everything, except to try to accept whatever existed there, so long it was nothing between men and women. What I wanted at least was equality between men and women. And those men who keep slamming and saying women are weak, we are fools. Again, we still ignore the part. How many females in different populations are still strong enough to have believed and have showed every day that they are strong? Simple. Animals. Animals have proven all the time, no matter how big or short each and any of them are, there will always be strong ones who are equal strong like a male or stronger than a male. It doesn't matter if there is a male or a female who are stronger than each other. Each one is strong in different ways. And whatever strange it is, just because you're a man, it doesn't mean that you're automatically stronger than a female. And just because you're a female doesn't mean that you're weaker than a male. Again, that kind of thing must be broken no matter what. That's really bad in this case. Okay, back to religion. So after my father's death, I wanted to provoke this kind of thing of religion in the belief system. What I wanted to ignore was the part of this kind of difference between men and women. How should they be? Because of the Gospels who literally saying a lot. So I was thinking, I will ignore that part. But what about God in this case? When I was thinking, I could ignore that part. If God wants to punish me, then let him punish me, because I won't accept the part that I have to do the domestic abuse or what kind of shit we're actually standing in the Gospels. And that was something I had in my mind. What the hell is going on? But anyway, in over 10 years, I have tried to do my best to be a part of it, even though I had lack of understanding about whatever those Gospels were written. Was it good men or bad men? And again, I started to realize few things. It took time for me to realize. I wanted to ignore it, but couldn't. So it took time for me to just realize the truth, how violent the religion have become. But that doesn't mean just because the religion is violent itself doesn't mean everybody have to be violent. No. But there were a time that I started to realize how difficult it was. With all of the things, like my bad luck, the bad luck I bring in for myself, for example, or the bad luck who comes from nowhere, who literally can hurt me. Even though I understand for you atheismen who may be thinking, well, there must be you. There is no other way. It can't be otherwise powerful enough to hurt you. You hurt yourself. Okay, I understand. But the truth is, I don't believe in it. I believe there is other kind of bad luck thing who literally can hurt us anyway, no matter what. To be more certain, I am a bad luck bringer myself. I understand that I can create bad luck myself, of course, yes. I can do it myself too. But I believe also there is bad luck anywhere, no matter what. Unexplainable. Something as scientists can't explain either. That doesn't make me to the all-knowing person myself. And again, but as I said, the reason to why I became agnostic maybe 2021 was because of a lot of death among everyone I knew. As you know, as a young person, when I started to believe that God exists and what kind of shit I have going through, I started to repenting myself. Am I still doing it? Well, yes, I'm doing it. But I do it for myself. I don't do it for everyone. This is my own idea. Okay, for you atheismen, it will be more like a coconut. Yes, I understand. So yeah, judge me if you want. When it comes to the rest of you, well, okay. You can think whatever you want. But it's not like I can think that God could literally forgive me without getting something in return. So in my case, I don't want to owe God anything. I want to be sure that God can take my apologies later. For example, that I repenting myself by whipping my back, even though I have to bleed out for some times. Okay, I'm sorry. That sounds more like a psychopath. But that's the thing. My fear about God's anger and so on have been really impacting inside myself, of course, which is really big. My death of my father were a huge thing, yes, of course. That's another thing. And when I talk with a bunch of therapists who actually are educated as well, well, the difference is that they literally can judge me and think that I have some kind of whatever sickness inside myself. Mental sickness. Now don't get me wrong, but I think many of therapists today have no concept of, how should I say, even if they have knowledge, they're missing at least conception or whatever I could call it. You don't care, you do your job, you go after the book, but you can't literally share your bond and can't see this forgiveness in this case. You can't hug me or whatever, yeah, share that kind of thing. You don't have that feelings. That kind of thing, exactly what I'm saying. Well, it's hard for me. Sometimes I was thinking, okay, what the hell can I do? So yeah, after death of everyone I know and love than anything else. It will say for those who maybe wasn't sick or have been sick but haven't been taken by the infection at all. They literally died mystically, not died because of their sickness or deceased. Nothing at all. So yeah, here am I and still lacking about the information about that. So the time I became agnostic was this year, 2022. Actually, for 2 months now, I have felt that I wanted to be an agnostic because I started to believe that all of the gossips in every religion. Now, don't get me wrong. I won't say exactly who is wrong, but I'm saying this. Whoever wrote this could be rather than our own prophets as well. For example, I don't believe that Jesus were writing the Gospels of Christian. I don't believe that Moses were written the Gospels of Jews. I don't believe that Muhammad were written everything in Islam exactly. Only few things. Only few things I believe. When I say few things, I mean the good one, not the bad one. And again, I don't judge anyone, no matter what. What I believe anyway is that we have to reconstruct the religion itself. All the Gospels should actually be changed and not in the position of violent or injustice between the genders or whatever thing you might believe. That's something I can actually talk about, no matter what you may believe. For example, me as an agnostic, I may believe that God exists, but I don't believe whatever the religion is saying. That's the only difference, because of the lack of information of everything. I can still believe that sometimes both evolution and religion can, at least creation, can be explained. But here's the only thing as I, as an agnostic, would believe. I would believe in Hyperionism, but would the Hyperionism accept me? Of course they can accept me, but they can't force me either. It's up to me if I want to be, but in order to be a part of Hyperionism or be in a Hyperionism, I can be a part of it, but being in Hyperionism meaning I have to strip to it in this case, because I can't be both. They have at least a lot of information, as I believe, which I, on the other hand, buy. Even though I can buy from a scientist or maybe I don't know. I mean, even though I could understand the materialism who literally can lie about everything, why a scientist may be going only from whatever they have actually reaching to, whatever knowledge they have and so on. Same goes for all those people who may have read the Gospels from their books, no matter what. No matter if this is the Bible, Torah, or Quran. Each and anyone have always something to share. and I can go with it. Sometimes I lacking information what I think is maybe wrong. Not because I'm following my instinct, but at least what I can see for sometimes what seems to not be right. And that's exactly what I have to be more careful, instead for just swallow whatever comes up and then just say, oh yeah, this is right, but it's wrong. So that kind of mind is exactly what I have. I want to be careful. I don't want to make a judgment. I know that atheists at least would maybe call me coward for not changing that subject or be judgmental. That's because I don't have the courage. And I don't want to share my lack with other people who maybe are a believer or not a believer, because that wouldn't make sense either. It would be rather everything I could think of instead for whatever I had in my mind. Meaning, for example, whatever is right could also be wrong. That's why I shut my mouth. Although I am maybe skeptic over whatever the religion have to say. So yeah, I think I'm going to stay as an agnostic long time before I maybe will be, I don't know, perhaps in the future I will be in Hyperianism too. I don't know. But I'm still buying whatever the Hyperianism is saying more than what I'm buying what others saying. Like materialism, who literally lie a lot. Oh yes, they do. Anyway, that's the part one of me as an agnostic. I don't know if I'm going to do any part two, because there is a lot of things I want to tell. But this is one thing you know about me anyway. So yeah, I hope that most of you won't be angry. And if you're angry because I said something bad, please let me know in your comment, and maybe I can see if I can make it right again. And of course apologize whatever I have said who maybe offend you or whatever. So no matter if you are a believer or an atheist, please lend a comment to me and I maybe will respond. And so goes for everybody, no matter if you are materialism, scientist, Hyperianism, sorceress or whatever. It doesn't matter. However, have a nice day. Take it easy. Bye.